Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make these 3 AE-like text effects for edits in Filmora. So let's get started. Alright, first get your clips ready, then add a new text layer, then you can split the layer according to your clip. So I'm taking 3 parts like this. Alright, next, let's adjust these texts. So first, I select these 2 layers, and change the font style to Melto Sans 300, and the font size to 40. Next, I select the middle text, and I change the font style to Arial Rounded, with the font size set to 50. Also, I enable bold, and I change all the letters to capital letters. Alright, next, let's change the texts. So with the new updates in Filmora, now we can change text by double-clicking the layer, like this. So after adjusting the text, let's do the animation part. So for this text effect, I'm going to use the word-by-word effect style. So I select this layer and go to the Animation tab. Then apply the string blur effect to the layer. Then to add it to the other layers, click this, and select Apply to All. And it applies the same animation to all the other text layers. Then we need to adjust the timing according to the clip. So I do it like this. So after that, let's animate the scales and positions. So I select my first text, and I need to scale it up from the center to this position. So to create that first, go to Transform, and create keyframes on Scale and Position. Then go to somewhere around here, and bring down the scale, then bring the text to the center. Then move this keyframe to the point where the animation starts. And next, adjust the key graph, open the key graph panel, and apply the ease out graph to every last keyframe. Alright, the first one is done, so let's do the second one. So for this one, I'm going to add a zoom in effect. So I make that using the scale like this. Then adjust the key graph. And it's done. So for the third one, I'm going to add a slide down effect. So we can do it simply by using position, like this. Alright, now we completed animating the positions. So next, let's add the line effect. So first I move these 2 layers a few layers up like this. Then select the pen tool and draw a line like this. After that, bring the line layer under the text layer. Alright, then go to the settings, and I change the line weight to 3, then change the cap and join corners to round. So after that, let's add another one to the bottom. So I take a duplicate of this layer by holding the Alt key, Then go to Transform and unlink the scale and change the height to -100. So next, let's change these to a compound clip. So select these two layers and press Alt+G to make a compound clip. Alright, then go into this clip and let's add an animation. So go to the 30th frame and select both layers. Then in the trim path settings, create keyframes on start and end. Then go right here and change both values to 50. Then bring these keyframes to the start like this. So now we got a little animation like this. Alright, next go back to the main timeline and let's add a slide animation to these lines. So go to the transform settings and create keyframes on position, scale, and also opacity. Then go here and I make the slide effect like this. Alright, now we got our animation. So next we need to add these lines to the right side as well. So to do this, I change this layer to a compound clip. Then take a duplicate. After that, go to Transform, unlink the scale, and change the width value to -100. So now we completed the line effect part, so I select both line layers and change them to a compound clip. Alright, next, let's add some effects to this middle text. So first, I change that middle text layer to a compound clip. Then go to the Effects tab and search for the Emboss effect. And apply it to the layer. Also add the fill effect too. Then in the settings, you can copy my settings. Also for the color, you can choose any color you like. Alright, now we got a nice bevel effect like this. Also, let's add another effect. So go to Open Effects, Sapphire Lights, and apply the S_glow orthicon effect to the layer. And in the settings, change the darkness value to something like 2.5. And it gives a nice little dark texture to the text like this. Alright, finally let's add the glow effect. So select all the text layers and change them to a compound clip. Then in the Effects tab, search for glow, select the glow color effect and apply it to the layer. Then go to the settings and copy my settings. Then you can add the drop shadow. Also for the shadow, you can use S_drop shadow in OpenFX effects instead of the default shadow. Also, you can add another cool effect, like the halftone effect. So in the settings, Change the color scheme to RGB and place the halftone effect under the glow effect like this. Then go back to the halftone settings and change the HT scale as you want. And you can also change the halftone shape as well. Also, for the final touch, you can add a little zoom in effect to the text, so I add it using the scale settings like this. And like that, our first text effect is done. Alright, for the next text effect, I already added both text layers. So first let's start with adding animation. So I select my first text and go to the animation, then select mask and reveal, and I apply this erase animation. Then I adjust the duration to match the voice. Alright, next let's animate the position, so I select here and go to the Video tab. I create a keyframe on position, then go here, and I move the text a little bit up like this. So now we have a little slide down effect. So then I move this keyframe to the start, and open the key graph, then apply the ease out graph to the last keyframe. Alright, next let's animate the second text. For the second text, I'm going to add the texture effect later, so I change this to a compound clip. Then let's add the reveal animation. So go to the Effects tab and search for Mask, then apply Image Mask to the text. In the settings, go to the Mask presets and select this one. Then I'm going to use the Width setting to make the reveal effect. So I make it like this. Then go to the key graph and adjust the graph like this. Also add feather to smooth the edges. Alright, next let's animate the position, so in here I add a slide up effect like this. So now we completed the animating part, so let's add the texture effect to this. So go into this compound clip, then I apply the texture image I downloaded, then bring down the scale a little bit, and change it to a compound clip. So next we need to blend this texture with the text. So to do that, first I hide the texture layer. Then I take a snapshot of the text we created. After that, unhide the texture layer and select it. Then go to the mask, select Import Mask, and import the snapshot I took. Then apply the mask, and like that we apply the texture to our text. Also, I need to adjust the texture a little bit, so I go into the texture comp, move the layer a little bit up like this. Alright, now let's add a few more effects to complete the texture part. So first select both layers and change them to a compound clip. Then go to color, and let's adjust the brightness a little bit, so I adjust the graph like this. So after that, let's add the emboss effect. So go to the Effects tab and search for Emboss, and apply the emboss effect to the layer. In the effect settings, change the percentage to 20. Then go to Open FX and search for emboss in the search bar. Then apply the emboss shiny effect to the layer. So this effect gives a little rough look to the text. So let's adjust these settings. So first I change the brightness to 1.7 and the bump scale to something like 0.62. So the brightness looks a bit too much, so let's change it to around 1.4. Alright, then you can adjust the light direction as you want. So after that, let's add some color to this. So go back to OpenFX and search for Tritone. And apply it to the layer. In the settings, you can set any color you like. So I set it to this red color. Also, let's readjust the emboss effect a little bit. Alright guys, next let's add a little fake 3D look to this text. To do that, change the text layer to a compound clip. Then take 2 duplicates by holding the Alt key like this. Then go to the Effects tab and search for 3D. Then apply this basic 3D effect to the second text layer. Then go to the settings and change the zoom value to something like -10. And you can see it gives a little 3D effect to our text like this. Also, let's add a depth effect too. So go to Color and bring down the exposure to add a little depth to the text. Then let's add this effect to the third layer too. So I simply copy and paste the effect. Then go back to the effect settings and change the zoom value to -12. And also adjust the exposure too. So like that, we added the fake 3D look to our text. Alright, next, let's add the line effect to this text. So go to the Shape tool, and I select the triangle shape, and I draw the shape like this. Next, go to the settings and disable the stroke. Then let's add an effect to this. So I bring the shape to here, and I keep the part I want. Then I change it to a compound clip. To make the effect, I'm going to use a mask. So go to the Effects tab and search for Mask. Then select Image Mask and apply it to the layer. In the settings, open the mask presets, and I select this mask. Then we're going to use the X position to make the effect. So I make the effect like this. After that, open the key graph and adjust the graph like this. Then we need to add this text's texture effect to the line effect as well. So I add it like this. So in here, I use the same method we used earlier. Alright, we added the texture effect to our line. So next, let's add the white glow effect to this reveal effect. So to do that, I bring this line effect layer to the 5th layer, then go into this compound clip and take a copy of the line shape layer. Then go to the main timeline and paste it right here. Then we need to add the same line animation we added. So first I change this to a compound clip. So I name it White Line. Then take a copy of the line animation and paste it onto the white line layer 2 times like this. So next, let's adjust the layer offset, so I bring this layer 2 frames forward like this. And now you can see we have a white line effect like this. Also, when we add the glow effect to the white line, it will appear on the whole line. But we need it to appear on only a little part. So to fix this, go to the white line layer mask settings, select the second mask, and change it to invert mode. Then go to the key graph and move these keyframes on the second mask like this to adjust the line size. So now you can see it only appears on that little part. So then I remove the glow effect from this layer. We can add it later. Alright, let's add this emboss effect from this text layer to our line effect. So I simply copy and paste the effect like this. Alright, next, let's add the glow effect to the white line layer. So first I change it to a compound clip, then go to the Effects tab, and I apply the glow color effect 2 times like this. Then, in the settings, I increase both intensities to 1. After that, select both line layers and change them to a compound clip. Then we need to add this line effect to the right side as well, so I take a duplicate by holding the Alt key, then go to Transform and change the width value to -100. Then select both layers and change them to a compound clip. Then go to the key graph of the text layer, and I take a copy of the Y position keyframes then I paste them onto the line effect layer. So now we have a nice synced position effect like this. So finally, I applied the glow effect to our text effect. So in here, I used the same exact glow settings we used earlier. Also, you can add another cool effect, like the curve effect. So for that, go to the Effects tab, select New Blue FX, then select Essentials. Then apply this lens correction effect to the text layer. In the effect settings, bring the lens correction effect to the bottom like this. After that, you can adjust the curve effect as you want. And like that, we completed our second text effect. So let's move to the last one. For the last one, I use this example. Also, like before, I already added text layers we're going to customize. Alright, so first let's add effect to these 2 layers. So I need to add a word-by-word effect. So I apply the string blur animation to both text layers. Then I adjust the timing according to the clip. So after that, let's animate the position. So I select the first text, and I select the point that needs to end. Then go to the Video tab and create a keyframe on position. After that, go here and adjust the position like this. Then bring this keyframe to start. Then we need to animate position on the second text too. Select this layer, and I animate the position like this. Alright, next let's adjust the key graph. So open the key graph and add an ease out graph to the last keyframes like this. So next, let's animate the middle text. So for this one, I'm going to use a different effect. So first I change this to a compound clip. So next let's add the effect. So go to the Effects tab and select OpenFX and search Wipe Stripes effect. Select this effect and apply it to the layer. In the settings, we're going to use this wipe amount setting to make the effect. So first let's change the angle. So I change it to 90. And also I increase the frequency to 20. So then let's add the effect. So I make it like this. Then open the key graph and adjust the graph like this. So now we have a nice reveal effect like this. Also, let's add a few more stripes to this. To do that, I simply take a copy of this Wipe Stripes effect and paste it like this. So now in the settings, we have two Wipe Stripes effects. So I select one effect and adjust the Shift Stripe setting like this. Alright, now it looks perfect. So next, let's add the texture effect to this. So I go into this compound clip, and in here we're going to use the same method we used in the previous text to make the texture effect. So I make it like this. So after adding the texture layer, let's change both layers to a compound clip. Then add other effects like Emboss and Emboss Shiny effects to the text. Then let's add the color, so add the tritone effect. Also, additionally, let's add a little raise effect. Select Boris Effects, select Light, and apply this Raise Puffy effect to the layer. In the settings, change the intensity to 140 and ray length to something like 15. Then change the light position like this. After that, select this ray effect and bring it to the bottom like this. Alright, now we've completed adding effects. So next let's add the fake 3D look. So I add it like this. So finally, let's add the glow and shadow effect. First, let's change these layers to a compound clip. Then go to the Effect tab and search Fill Effect and apply it to the layer. In the settings, I change it to red color. With the blend value to 11. Then search Glow in the Effect tab and apply the glow color effect to the layer. In the settings, you can simply copy my settings, Alright, after that, add the drop shadow. Finally, let's add the zoom effect to the text, so go to the transform settings and create a keyframe on scale. Then go here and I bring down the scale to like 85. Then move this to start and open the key graph and adjust the graph like this. And that's pretty much it. So guys, that's how you can make AE-like text effects in Filmora. You can download the complete project file in my Discord. Also, a few more Filmora and AE tutorials are coming soon, so keep in touch. So thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next video.